Hello everyone, and welcome to another Sully side quest. My name is Tyler, middle name Sullivan, that's why it's Sully, just so you know. Behind me this way is the Spin of Sin. Every milestone subscribers that we have to spin that thing. So if you're new here, click that subscribe button because in about 90 subscribers, I'm gonna have to spin that thing and there will be some consequences. So that will be crazy. If you want to see that happen, do that. But we are a long ways from home. We're kind of clearing our head from some bad things that happened. One of my friends was kidnapped and killed, and we don't know what happened. And so I'm kind of just vibing, kind of just like trying to gather my head just so that I don't endanger any more people. And so to do that, we're just building something, you know? I found this beautiful landscape here at this mountain. And now I am building a watchtower. Just because I think it'd be cool in the middle of this valley. Let me get to the top and show you what it looks like just here in a second. And today I don't have very long to record, but we're gonna build this. Like, look at this. This is just so beautiful. This little indention here in the little valley here. I think this would be such a cool town, maybe like a getaway town that we could start building on. I don't want the world to just be confined to one small space. Like where we're from, I want to like work on different kingdoms and stuff like that. I just think that's a cool concept. So if you're new here, I want to tell you about a playlist that I made. I made two playlists. One is for Eden lore. If you want to go back and see all the different lore episodes that led us up to this point, I have a playlist dedicated for that now, as well as a playlist dedicated towards for the Spin of Sin consequences. Alright, so let's see how much we can get done here at the top. I've kind of off camera done a little bit of the second story, so I think it'd be great to finish the third story. I think that's as far as I want to go up. I don't exactly love the X's on the inside, but it's the quickest thing that I can do right now, and you know, I'm just going to start somewhere until the vision starts to grow, if that makes sense. I'll probably replace it at some point, but for now, this is good. I don't know how long I'm going to live here, really. I wanted to come do something. Just live a different place for a while and start something new. And this is exactly the thing that I wanted to do. So, all right. We want this to actually go here. And then we're going to go with a shebang. And this should go... Oh, did we do something wrong? Compared to over there? I think we did. Should be like this. Oh, opposite way. Should be going up by one here. So is it here? And then here? Yeah, that seems better. That seems right. Okay, let's see how much we can get done. Because I got a dip. We are going to go watch a movie tonight. That movie is The Backrooms. The Backrooms. Like a horror thriller movie. I've kept up with the YouTube series because I thought it was like super interesting concept. Super interesting concept that a random guy just started making. Can my boots save me? Do I have my boots on? Geronimo! Oh yeah, we're chilling. So we're gonna go watch a movie. That movie. I don't think it's like a bad movie. I think it's just like a. I don't really like horror movies because it just makes me feel blah. But this one feels like more of like an interdimensional type of like spooky concept, right? I mean, imagine getting stuck in like a random dimension where there's like a monster in it. That's pretty fun. That sounds pretty fun to me. Fun to watch, probably not fun to experience, you know? So, interested to see how the movie takes it, you know, wherever it goes with it. Okay, so what do we do here? What did I do over there? Was it like so? Yeah, it was like so. And then going all the way to the top. Oh, it's gonna look. I think it's gonna look dope, y'all. It's gonna look dope. And then shebang. Okay. And then this will reach all the way across. And we probably should have been already stripping the wood, in my opinion. My humblest opinion as we went forward. Because then we're going to have to build up and do it. So let me see how far we can make it from here all the way to the top. My whole week is saying yes to, if you know what I'm talking about, say it in the comments right now. I did that this morning. I'm leading in a type of event. Are you going to say yes, yes, yes? To what? To fill in the blank. If you know what I'm talking about, fill in the blank below of what I'm saying yes to. If you know, then you know. If you know, then you know. So blank, blank. And I think this is going to go here. Okay, we're kind of on a roll now. We're kind of on a roll. We've begun to make this build muscle memory at this point. All right, and this will go all the way across. Here. Yes. And then this one will go all the way across. See what time it is. We're getting close to finishing, but we're kind of at the point where I like. We're gonna try to make this spot up here like a little hangout area. This is such a random adventure. I love it though. It's like a little random quest that we're going on together. And I would love to come over here at some point and maybe build some stuff around it. Just build up a kind of civilization around here. All right, this is looking pretty dope. Maybe I should finish off making sure that these, I probably could have left some in my now thoughts and opinions. It might have looked good with some of it mixed in there, but for now, let's just make it all even, Steven. There we go. Okay. All the way down here as much as possible. And, you know, we might just have to do some kind of like simple ladder system to get up for now. Okay, can we reach? There we go. All the way down here. And across. There. All the way across. Is this satisfying or not? All the way across. There we go. There we go. Okay. Alright, do we have that all? Is all of that done around here? Yeah. Okay, so definitely need to figure out, because it kind of feels like a snowman, if that makes sense. Kind of feels like a snowman. We got to figure out how we can make it, you know, feel a little bit more like a watchtower. Maybe that is like how eventually we figure out what we do at the top here. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, this is a dope concept. I like it. Looks like it's supported with the beams and everything. We just need at the very top to have like, you know, a little area where we can chill at the very top. I don't know if it should be stairs in here. I feel like it should be. Stairs, but maybe it should be a ladder. I'm not too sure. Let me think about it. I do think to help with the snowman look though, we can kind of like create a little bit of a more texture on the outside here to where it's not just like super straight. It's like one way we could do that is adding some textures, maybe even some like fences around the edges here. I might want to add a slab to the top of this. A slab and maybe some fences. I'm kind of just vibing, just thinking today of what we can do. Is this a fence or a gate? Always want to make a gate for some reason. Fences always have in the middle. I gotta remember that. The gates have the foundations on the outside, and these don't. So, that there. I mean, we might need to go get some like stone and then add some stones to the outside. But for now, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna add this here and here. And this should give it a little bit of an uplift, I believe, in how it looks. For example, like check this out. Here, here, here. So like, you know, it's gonna give it a little bit of an uplift there. I might even consider doing the stairs on the outside. What do you think? You guys let me know in the comments. If you have some comments, let me know. You know, and the top is just going to be a simple foundation. But we don't really have the wood for now. Don't have the wood. let's go ahead and build. Oh, I had scaffolding this entire time. That's embarrassing. I guess I just forgot that it was in there. All right. I imagine like a porch on the outside, you know, like where people can chill, can hang out, and kind of look around the surrounding area. But isn't this place just beautiful? This is an absolute stunning location. So, okay. Well, look, I got a dip. It's time for me to go. But we have built I keep pressing the wrong button. We have built the foundations of a beautiful, I think what's going to be a beautiful watchtower over this land. That's going to be super cool. I don't know what's to come of this land. I'm just building. I'm just having fun. Just a random side quest. But guys, thank you all so much for watching. And we're about to get to some Bible reading. This is why we do what we do. So, all right, you guys have a great day, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Goodbye. All right, so we've been going through the book of Exodus together, chapter by chapter. And today we are in chapter 21, okay? Now, we're going to go and talk about some sensitive topics, especially with our ears and how we are, I think, rightly, how should I say it, rightly sensitive towards slavery and speech of slavery, because it was a horrible thing, and it was a horrible thing that our ancestors did in the United States. We're going to talk about that today and how the Lord is starting to fix a systemic cultural thing that was happening during this time. Because believe it or not, but years and years ago, like, it was normal for every country to have slaves, especially during this time. And it was different. It looked different than what it looked like here in the United States at the mass amount of level that the United States had it. So keep that in mind as we read, but understand that the Lord is look at the Lord's heart through this, right? He doesn't outright abolish slavery in here, as we wish. Like I wish that he would have, right? But he does give us a foundation of what it means to treat someone as a human, right? Even within the systems that are in place around us. Okay, so this is chapter 21, talking about the fair treatment of slaves. These are the regulations you must present to Israel. Keep in mind, this is the first thing that God starts talking about after the 10 Commandments, right? Which is how to treat their slaves right, which is, I think, very important because he's fighting for the weakest in society. If you buy a Hebrew slave, he must serve no more than 6 years. Set him free in the 7th year, and he will owe you nothing for his freedom. So setting expectations of like not keeping these people under abuse. If he was single when he became your slave, he shall leave single. But if he was married before he became a slave, then his wife must be freed with him. If his master gave him a wife while he was a slave and they had sons or daughters, then only the man will be free in the 7th year. But his wife and children will still belong to his master. But the slave may declare, I love my master, my wife, and my children, right? We can't really comprehend this, but check this out. I love my master, right? That a slave could say that, right? And I think that should have been the case, right? We think of scenarios where the master was abusive and like no one should be, really no one should be a slave. We get that. No one should be a slave. But there's instances here where they're being treated right. Why? It's because they actually, during this time, this was called indenture and something, sir. They actually gave themselves up because they could not provide for themselves to be slaves, to be servants, indentured servants to other people, right? And so they actually willingly allow themselves to do this to be provided for. And so it says if they say, I don't want to go free, if he does this, his master must present him before God. Then his master must take him to the door or doorpost and publicly pierce his ear with an awl. After that, the slave will serve his master for life. We can't comprehend that, right? That's a hard thing to swallow. But again, this whole system, God is trying to put forth a sense of fairness and reason, right? So when a man sells his daughter as a slave, she will not be freed at the end of 6 years as the men are. If she does not satisfy her owner, he must allow her to be bought back again, but he is not allowed to sell her to foreigners since he is the one who broke contract with her. But if the slave's owner arranges for her to marry his son, he may no longer treat her as a slave, but as a daughter. If a man who has married a slave wife takes another wife for himself, he must not neglect the rights of the first wife to food, clothing, and sexual intimacy. If he fails in any of these obligations, she must leave as a free woman without making any payment. Again, protecting the weakest of the culture, protecting women, protecting the slave, right? Setting these things into place, right? I know we wish he would like abolish it completely, but God is starting to change it for the better. So anyone who assaults and kills another person must be put to death. Wow, right? Which some would agree with, right? That's the death penalty is a very touchy subject today. But if it was simply an accident permitted by God, I will appoint a place of refuge where the slayer can be run to safety. However, if someone deliberately kills another person, then the slayer must be dragged even from my altar and put to death. Anyone who strikes father or mother must be put to death. Kidnappers must be put to death, whether they are caught in possession of their victims or have already sold them as slaves. Anyone who dishonors father or mother must be put to death. That's crazy, right? We don't think that that's a big deal, but God thinks it's a big deal for us to honor our fathers and mothers, right? Wow. Now, to death. Now, suppose two men quarrel and one hits the other with a stone or fist and then injure the person, does not die, but is confined to a bed. If he is later able to walk outside again, even with a crutch, the assailant will not be punished, but must compensate his victim for lost wages and provide for his full recovery. If a man beats his male or female slave with a club and the slave dies as a result, the owner must be punished. But if the slave recovers within a day or two, then the owner shall not be punished, since the slave is his property. That's a hard statement there, right? I don't like the concept of slavery. I don't like it. I really don't. And so we're having to really understand the redemptive qualities of what God is trying to do here. Again, I'm stressing that. Now, suppose two men are fighting and in the process they accidentally strike a pregnant woman so she gives birth prematurely. If no further injury results, the man who struck the woman must pay the amount of compensation the woman's husband demands and the judge approves. But if there is further injury, the punishment must match the injury, a life for a life. We're going to see this come back in the New Testament when God will say, if someone slaps you on the cheek, give them your other cheek, right? Because they took this concept and they ran with it and corrupted it, right? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot, and a burn for a burn, a wound for a wound, and a bruise for a bruise. If a man hits his male or female slave in the eye and the eye is blinded, he must let the slave go free to compensate for the eye. And if a man knocks out the tooth of his male or female slave, he must let the slave go free to compensate for the tooth. If an ox gores a man or woman to death, the ox must be stoned and his flesh must not be eaten. In such a case, however, the owner will not be held liable. But suppose the ox had a reputation for goring and the owner had been informed but failed to keep it under control. If the ox then kills someone, it must be stoned and the owner must also be put to death. However, the dead person's relatives may accept payment to compensate for the loss of life. The owner of the ox may redeem his life by paying whatever is demanded. The same regulation applies if the ox gores a boy or a girl. If the ox gores a slave, either male or female, the animal's owner must pay the slave's owner 30 silver coins and the ox must be stoned. Suppose someone digs or uncovers a pit and fails to cover it, and then the ox or donkey falls into it. The owner of the pit must pay full compensation to the owner of the animal, but then he gets to keep the dead animal. If someone's ox injures a neighbor's ox and the injured ox dies, then two owners must sell the live ox and divide the price equally between them. They must also divide the dead animal, but if the ox had a reputation for goring, yet its owner failed to keep it under control, he must pay full compensation. A live ox for the dead one, but he may keep the dead ox. So the Lord is establishing a lot of these different concepts. And we just need to, as we read, see the heart of God here. We see the heart of God who is fighting for the weak, and a God who fights for justice and fair play, fair life, right? If something happens to you, then you should be treated correctly. We serve a God like that, and he cares about how we act. So we should care about that too. Okay, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.